Yes, that does say Tom's Ratchety Workshop. I've opened my doors, and today is going to be my first class, my first workshop, and you are all invited. It's a bit like Willy Wonka is what's happening right now. So I've done quite a few builds recently, and a lot of them have been shops, which are obviously very clutter heavy. But I've used a lot of custom content and a lot of mod usage using the tool mod. And I was wondering, what can be achieved just by using the in-game items, no mods, no CC. So I've been through all of the surfaces, so you don't have to see how well they can be cluttered. So here we are inside, in my very secret, very remote workshop that is definitely not in the place where the park should be in Willow Creek. Don't mind the bland interior. My Gnome Palompas are refurbishing right now, and by that I mean I couldn't be bothered to make it any nicer. But I'm here with some of my custom content. Custom content has a lot of advantages. Obviously, you can have many more items, many more styles. But the main thing when it comes to clutter is that custom content creators can basically place as many item placement slots on these surfaces as they want to. So if I take this cup and I try and place it on one of these surfaces, you can see that it will just basically be placed anywhere, which means I can place lots of clutter on all of these things. However, you don't need custom content to make this sort of clutter. You can actually do this exact thing with any surface. It just takes a bit more effort, and we'll go over that in a bit. But let's go over those in-game surfaces, and I'm gonna show you a few to avoid, and then I'm gonna show you the best ones to use. So beginning with the flops. So first up in the flop category, we have this Dream Home Decorator moment that really just crawled itself in with a measly 7 item placement slots. I don't know what kind of dream home you're going to build with this, but it's probably going to be quite an uninspired one. It looks good, but for clutter it's garbage. Up next, representing every small circular and square table, we have this pair of twins. They copied each other's homework. Despite one being square and one being circular, they have the exact same sparse and random object placements. This large table gets a special mention because despite being larger than the small circular table, it actually has one fewer item placement slot on it. This table really it's a small table that had a botched BBL. That's all it is. Moving on to the square accent tables, and for some reason they have a circular object placement pattern. Not only that, but it's not even. So try again, small square accent tables. Onto the desks, and this one has, well, this represents every rectangular desk. It has a nice symmetrical placement. It looks somewhat like a Space Invader, but for cluttering, it's not good enough. A special mention goes to this rare square desk for trying. If you cover 2/3 of it and only look at the left side, it did attempt, but I don't know what happened. It had a couple of conjoined twins, and then the rest of the cups just went all over the place. Now this. What is this? This is a disgrace. This is from the miscellaneous category. And if anything was gonna have a large amount of item slots to clutter up a shop type build, it should have been this item. And yet here we are. What happened? This is so bad that it's going in the actual bin. Goodbye. So those were the flops. And just one moment while my Gnome Palompas reconstruct the set, thank you. So our first winner is this Desert Lux Calming Stone end table. She's got that even placement with a respectable 9 slots. She looked at all of the square surfaces with circle arrangements and she said, "Here, how do you like it?" Our next winners, we have these Spa Day moments. The Hollow and her skinny French niece, Nouveau. They were windows in a previous life. Now they both fashion that natural and versatile clutter look. while refuting accusations of Ozempic from the other accent tables. So a special shout out goes to this cornered table with its bright coloured shelves and llama. You might be thinking, okay, this is an odd winner. However, if you take 3 more and you put them together, not only do you remove the llamas and the bright shelves, but you actually get the most item placement slots for a square surface out of anything in the game. Following on in also helping us to address the lack of good square surfaces, we have this debonair display shelf from Cozy Bistro. There's a little overlap on the placements, but if you put 2 together, you can actually make a table. It's also the smallest shelf, so really good for small shelf areas where you don't quite have enough room for the immaculate shelf. And speaking of the immaculate, she's up next. Very simple, nice, easy swatches, neutral, simple design, and nice even object placement. Really good for making shelves, custom bookcases. You can do so much with this, it's so versatile. It was obviously going to be a winner. And last but not least, our final winner is this Mountain Romance kitchen counter from Snowy Escape. All of the kitchen counters have the same object placements. However, this one obviously wins because it has shelves built in. Altogether, this item has 36 item placement slots. It's also got a really simple design, so this doesn't need to be used in a kitchen, it can be used anywhere, really. So now that we've been through the flops and the winners, I am joined here by this rounded dresser from the Dream Home Decorator pack. And as we saw in the flops, the Dream Home Decorator surfaces aren't the best. This rounded dresser has these 6 item placement slots. So the cluttering is limited here. However, I am going to use this rounded dresser to actually just show you why that entire ranking system of flops and winners is completely irrelevant. Because you can clutter any surface you want as much as you like. As you can see here, I have another rounded dresser and it's thriving. It's got lots of cups on it. So how have I done this? Now you can take the items that have a lot of placement slots on them for an easy life. If you want to put in a little bit more effort, and it's only a little bit, it's not a lot. All you need is move objects on sheet, you need the Alt key, and you need a shelf. And you can use any shelf for this. And what you want to do is you take the shelf and you hold Alt and you raise it up the wall. And you want to level it with the same height as the surface that you want to place clutter onto. And once you've done that, you can place an item on this shelf and place it, hold Alt, click it again, pull it away, and you will see that it stays at the same elevation as you placed it on the shelf. And all you need to do then is just scooch it over onto the surface that you want it to be on. So the only thing you need to make sure you've done with this is that you've already filled the item placement slots on the surface that you're going to use, otherwise it will snap. But this means you can use something like this rounded dresser, fill up the 6 slots, and then just continue to keep adding on top of it. Now, not every item that can go on a surface will fit on this immaculate shelf, but you can just use a different shelf. For example, this box shelf that also came with Dream Home Decorator can be used for any of the items that can go on a surface. So although Dream Home Decorator did flop with the number of object placements on its items, at least it did provide this shelf to amend the problem. I also just wanted to go over a small issue you might run into when using shelves, especially when you're trying to float them and place them very precisely. And this comes from the fact that the shelves, they want to snap to a wall. So if you've built something and then you've decided, oh, you want to float a shelf sort of a little bit out from the wall, you're going to have a problem because it's going to want to snap. And the solution to this is simple. Just don't be worried about deleting walls to then just place them in again after. It's really not that big of a deal. Most of the time, it's not going to affect your build. You just have to replace the wallpaper. And it's as simple as that. So having said all that, I am now going to show you a few examples of some builds I've done using the winning items from today, and also some of the tips and tricks that I went over. there we go. You can see here my little set where I did my building. Yeah, but I've done a few builds now, and I'd figured I wanted to try and find some ways of making things a little bit easier for cluttering, and find some of my favorite items for doing that with to maybe cut down a little on the custom content, but also so that I could share a few tips and tricks with you too, because I like the idea of you guys maybe picking up a few ideas and then going building your own things. So if you enjoyed this, let me know, and I can do some other workshops in my little ratchety workshop, maybe do it up a little bit. But yeah, thank you for watching. Be kind to yourselves, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. I think I'll just place myself in here until the next video.